What's going on, everyone? Tryhard Casual here. We're doing some Fossil Island Wyverns on today's Konar Slayer episode. I know Fossil Island Wyverns aren't everyone's favorite task, but for some reason I've just always enjoyed them. I always like doing dragons for some reason. I know it's lame, but there's just something about them. Something about them makes it fun to kill. On a side note, I do have an entire overview of Fossil Island if you just wanted to learn about Fossil Island more, so I'll link that down below if you want to take a look at that. But I think it's time to reel it in and talk about what gear we're going to be taking on this task. Alright, so when you're on Fossil Island, you can actually kill 4 different versions of Wyverns. Generally, people like to go for the weakest version just because they're quicker to kill, and the higher level ones don't have that much better of drops. Whenever you're fighting any variant of Wyvern on the island, the only piece of gear you'll absolutely need is something in your shield slot. You can choose between an elemental shield, a mine shield, a dragonfire shield, a dragonfire ward, or an ancient Wyvern shield. The ancient Wyvern shield would be the best, I just don't have one right now, so the dragonfire shield is going to be just fine. So because I'm a higher combat level, I'm just going to pick the best strength gear that I have essentially. I'll throw down some other options on screen, but I just want to say that even though they look like dragons, they're actually not weak to stab damage. I'm personally going to bring a Dragon Hunter Lance just because I have one and you still get the extra 20% damage bonus. But if you don't have a Dragon Hunter Lance, then a whip is essentially going to be your second best option. So it's really not too crazy. If you're a little bit lower level, you'll definitely want Torags or something more defensive in your chest and leg slot. But we can move over into inventory and talk about that. So I'm going to bring a Dragon Warhammer as my spec weapon just to reduce their defense a little bit. A Ceridoma Godsword is probably a decent option, or even just like a Dragon Dagger is more than okay. I'm also going to bring a Divine Super Combat Potion. I might as well shell out a little bit if we're going to kill Wyverns. I'll bring 2 Prayer Potions with me. If you're a lower level, I might bring 3 or 4. I notice it is hard to kind of balance out how much food you bring versus how long you can stay and how much you can hold. I generally like to overload on a weaker food and then just drop it if I don't need it, and I want to pick up loot instead. And also to get there, we're going to have a dig site pendant and a teleport out with a house teleport. So let's talk really quickly on how to get to Fossil Island and where the Wyverns actually are. So what I like to do is take the dig site pendant teleport to Fossil Island, which will put you on the house on the hill. You'll use the mush trees to transport yourself over to the mushroom forest, and then you'll just run down into the dungeon here where the Wyvern are. I also want to note that this dungeon up here is Slayer task only for Wyverns. But if you're like, hey, Tryhard Casual, I have no idea what the fuck you just said. I don't have any of that stuff, and I don't know what mush trees are. But don't worry, you just want to take your dig site pendant to the dig site, which will take you somewhere right around here. So once you teleport here, you just want to run over to the boat, and then if you quick travel from the boat, it'll take you right on the Fossil Island beach. So from here, you could actually just run up into the Slayer dungeon on the north. You don't have to use the trees or anything fancy. But if you didn't want to use the Slayer only dungeon, then there is one down below over here. So once you actually go inside, the Wyvern inside the non-Slayer task that we want to kill are going to be right in this section. But if you go in the Slayer task only Wyverns, the ones we want to kill are going to be in the middle. Okay, so right now we're inside the northern Slayer only dungeon with the Wyverns. Let me explain real quick what they do and what we want to pray. So Wyvern attack with melee, range, and their special ice breath. So whatever shield you brought is going to protect you from the icy breath. It might freeze you every now and then, but it won't actually deal any damage. So we'll still be getting hit by melee and range. So what we want to do is pray melee while we're on the task. Some people also like to camp piety the entire time. I'm going to try and offensively flick it just to save a little money on prayer potions. But I think that's about it. I'm just going to flip on the prayers, start this timer, and I will see you at the end of it. Okay, so we're all done with the task. Took me 32 minutes, which is really good actually. That's not bad at all. For most accounts, it's probably going to take longer than that, depending on how much gear you have or what your stats are. But looking at the profit, we ended up making almost 400k, so that's pretty good. And on top of that, we did get a clue scroll, a single fossil, and then also a brimstone key, so that key could help out even more. I did another 50k, which is nice. But that brings us to the end of the video. I just want to say very quickly that we are closing in on 1,000 subs. At the current rate of what we're growing at, it should be within a month. Within 1 month's time, we'll be there. I do have a special video in mind for it. It's going to be more than a Q&A, but I do also want a Q&A in it, so if you guys have any questions for me, just let me know in the comments and I'll probably add it to the video. Beyond that, the next video will be on Friday, so I will see you then.